If you could, really quick, just give me and us a context on who you are and what you do, what you're up to, what you're excited about.
Great. Well, I'm Greg Lindsay. I'm a contributing editor at Fast Company magazine. I write about smart cities there on a regular basis. I'm also the author of Aerotropolis, The Way We'll Live Next, sort of look at cities in the era of globalization, and particularly using air travel as a way to explore how various cities and countries are trying to plug into the global economy. And to me, as the moderator of the last panel, the question that escaped me, of course, the best ones always occur during public Q&A, is scale. I mean, it all comes back to scale, because the notion of building an intelligent city is the idea that you can apply the scalability of technology, of the technology industry, of Moore's Law, of write once, read anywhere, and really apply that to cities, to solving problems on a national, urban scale or a global scale. And that always comes up with the problem of the fact that every city, every community is unique and has unique problems, unique process. And this strikes me as a sort of the central tension, in a way, of the whole intelligent cities notion is how do we scale up all this great technology we have to address these incredibly urgent problems? I mean, urbanization, sustainability, peak oil, all of it, when in fact, every community is different, and every community is going to resist you if you try to give them a one-size-fits-all solution. And so, that to me, that's the question I didn't think to ask.
And so then what is the magic answer?
There is no magic answer. That is the problem, is that basically you can encourage people to homogenize, or, in the end, you do what we're trying to do, which is, you create better solutions, you create something that's largely the same, and then you try to customize it at the very end, where it touches the people. But, at some point, there's just limits to what you can do with it, I think. And I hope civic leaders and people don't fall into the seduction that, if we just pull this piece of software off the shelf, that it's going to fix everything. I mean, that's what we tend to do in America.
So have you seen some best of breed implementations recently on a local level that you would point to and say they were really smart with regard to how they thought about that, how they did the technology development, how they did the actual community outreach, how they did that whole collaboration process? Does anything stand out to you?
Nothing in particular. I tend to cover it, I tend to cover looking at particularly what the big technology companies are. So I'm always sort of watchdogging them and sort of keeping an eye on sort of what they're proposing. Because what really fascinates me is the potentially horrible missteps I think that people could be making. One company, for example, I think is really interesting is a startup called Planet Valley, it's called Living Planet, and they're building a city from scratch in Portugal called Planet Valley. And what they want to do is really sort of build an entire city like you'd build a piece of enterprise software, where literally buildings could be plugged into the cloud and you could decommission them, and they want to build an urban operating system, and these really sort of far out plans. And they're building a city in Portugal. They've got a deal to redevelop part of London for the Olympics, and I just find it really fascinating what they're doing, because Judith of the Rockefeller Foundation alluded to greenfield cities. I mean, China is going to build an astounding number of cities. I mean, I've seen statistics that urban land cover is going to double in 20 years. So we're going to build everything we've already built all over again, essentially. And that's where the potential for really horrible mistakes lies. I think, in the U.S. we have the possibility to fix the systems we have and do infill. And that's where I think Nick and Dustin and others have talked about really great programs. What really sort of keeps me up at night is the potential to really make a smart city that's quite stupid, or that will basically force people to go along with its own logic. So I look for the potential disasters in the making, really.
Wonderful. And how do we find you online? You're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're writing for Fast Company.
Facebook, go to greglindsay.org. You can find me at Greg_Lindsay on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm everywhere that finer virtual personas are sold.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.